Hello everyone and welcome to the best blog on earth. I'm your host, Riley Harris. Well, let's start like we always do. Now, I don't know how many episodes it's been, but that song inspires me every time. This week I wanted to give you all an update on how the time travel was going. I haven't time traveled yet, which I think would be obvious, but some people I have to spell it out for. You're out there, you know who you are. No, I have not time traveled yet. I have a lot more of the structure done, and it's just kind of getting the wiring in, so to speak. To be honest, I don't know what the technical term for it is, or if there is a technical term for it. Yeah, it's moving along in a positive direction now that I can walk on 2 feet without crying myself to sleep the night thereof. I do have a interesting update in terms of how that progress is going. It turns out within my general vicinity, there happens to be a library. Gosh, that would have helped a lot if I'd known that a long time ago. I don't know if you all know this, but there's a lot of information in libraries, and a lot of books, many of which I will have to set aside because I cannot allow myself to get distracted on the path to the past. Some of those books have information about electrical engineering, which I assume would be helpful if I'm working with electricity. Maybe read something about quantum theory. I don't know if that's going to help at all, because clearly if none of you have travelled back in time and you know quantum theory, then me learning it probably isn't going to help. But I'll give it a shot. If I don't successfully travel back in time the first time, then I could crack open a book and see if maybe that'll help. I did have one problem, because as I recalled, you do need a library card to remove books from the library, otherwise you get penalised. I don't remember what the penalty was, because personally I don't think I've ever visited a library in my life. I'd seen some in films, but my personal experience wasn't that great, which might have had something to do with my terrible marks in school. I just presumed a book would detonate or something. I don't know. I assume the penalties were severe. But I did find a way to overcome that limitation, because from every film I've ever seen, I don't think any of the librarians need a library card. And what do you know? I am the last librarian alive. Coincidentally, I was able to hire myself to work at that library. I, put some books on the shelves. I don't really know how the system goes, because I think they have little numbers on the side, and I don't know if the numbers are supposed to be in ascending or descending order. I don't remember what section they all go in. I remember there's a difference between fiction and non-fiction. I just don't remember which one is which. I think one is true, one is false. Beyond that, oh well. I'm sure all of you will be fine with how I arranged those books, because you're all dead. Turns out there was an extensive library of audiobooks as well. Those were a lot more useful to me, because I can listen to audiobooks while I'm working or walking or whatever. Come to think of it, I probably shouldn't, because I'm like the top of the food chain now. And if the top of the food chain has earbuds in and can't hear the bottom of the food chain, the bottom of the food chain starts working its way up. So I should lay off the audiobooks just so I can stay alive. I'll do it all for you. I'm depriving myself of entertainment for you. Just think about that. Unfortunately, I had to spend the night in the library, and it got rather cold. I had to ignite some information, but luckily I didn't burn myself, so that's good. Some of you might be upset that I burned some books. Now, I'd like to remind you all that you are dead and cannot be upset. Second, I think it was children's books, as I've already written one. We don't need any more. Mine's the best. Just have children read that. So I don't think anyone has a standing out there to be upset. If you're upset, you're just making a reason for yourself to be upset, and you need to take a load off and lay back and, just breathe. We're going to get through this. I will get back to you. And by then, those books will not have been burned, which means I win and you win. There's nothing wrong with that. We both win. And I know some of you are thinking, man cannot organise books and then subsequently burns them. Must be the worst librarian on earth. Wrong. Best librarian on earth. That is going to do it for this week's episode. Let's end with our Australian fact of the week. Melbourne used to be called Batmania. Thank you all for watching. Tune in next time.